studying your last two. I swim with tea when they turned in. The staring down to mute and can lend a pole that sunk he died.
This slide introduces one of the most important connections in compensation planning for owner-managers. Many people think of salary and dividends as simply different ways of getting money out of a corporation. But experienced advisors understand that the choice affects much more than today's taxes. It also affects future planning opportunities. One of the biggest examples is RRSP contribution room. Let's start with the left side of the slide. Here we see salary income. When an owner-manager receives salary from their corporation, that salary becomes earned income for tax purposes. And earned income creates RRSP contribution room. This is extremely important because RRSP room is not something that can be created automatically. It is earned over time through qualifying income sources. As salary is reported on a T4, RRSP room begins to accumulate, creating future opportunities for retirement planning and wealth building. Notice the flow shown on the slide. Corporation, salary, earned income, RRSP room created. This simple sequence is one of the foundations of long-term financial planning. The benefits listed on the slide show why many advisors value salary despite the additional payroll requirements. Salary generates RRSP contribution room. It supports retirement planning. It creates future tax planning opportunities. And it helps build long-term savings potential. That is why the salary side receives the large green checkmark labeled RRSP eligible. Now let's compare that to the right side of the slide. Here we see dividend income. Dividends can be an excellent compensation tool in many situations, but they do not create RRSP contribution room. The flow is different. Corporation, dividend, investment income, no RRSP room. This distinction is incredibly important. An owner-manager who receives only dividends may have little or no new RRSP room generated during that period. As a result, some retirement planning opportunities may become more limited. That is why the dividend side of the slide displays the large red X and the message that no RRSP room is generated. Notice the RRSP account positioned in the center of the slide. The arrow flows from the salary side into the RRSP account, but not from the dividend side. This visual captures the entire lesson. RRSP planning begins with earned income. Without earned income, the ability to create new RRSP room is significantly reduced. Now, this does not mean salary is always better than dividends. That is not the lesson. The lesson is that compensation decisions create consequences. If RRSP planning is important to the client, salary often becomes part of the conversation because it opens the door to future RRSP contributions. This is exactly how professional advisors think. They do not evaluate salary and dividends only on today's tax results. They also evaluate how each option affects future planning opportunities. And that brings us to the key message at the bottom of the slide. Salary creates RRSP room. Dividends do not. Understanding this simple principle is the first step toward understanding why RRSP planning is often one of the most powerful tools available to owner-managers. In the next slide, we'll see exactly how RRSP contributions work and why they can create both immediate and long-term benefits. Now that we understand that salary creates RRSP contribution room, the next question is simple. How does RRSP planning actually work? This slide walks through the complete process from earned income today to financial security in the future. Let's start with step 1. The process begins with earning salary from the business. An owner-manager receives employment income, and that income creates RRSP contribution room. This is the foundation of the entire strategy. Without earned income, there is no new RRSP room to contribute. That's why the first step is so important. Step 2 is contributing to the RRSP. The owner-manager chooses to direct a portion of their income into a registered retirement savings plan, instead of spending every dollar today. Some of that income is invested for the future. Think of the RRSP as a special investment account designed to encourage long-term retirement saving. Now we arrive at step 3, which is where many clients first see a tangible benefit. RRSP contributions generally create a tax deduction. This means taxable income for the year is reduced. And when taxable income goes down, taxes payable may also decrease. This creates an immediate benefit that many clients appreciate. They are simultaneously saving for the future while potentially reducing taxes today. But the RRSP story doesn't end there. Step 4 introduces one of the most powerful features of the RRSP system: tax-deferred growth. Inside the RRSP, investments can grow over time without annual taxation on interest, dividends, or capital gains generated within the plan. This allows the investments to compound more efficiently. The tree growing from the stack of coins on the slide is a perfect visual representation of this concept. The money is not simply sitting there. It is growing, and over long periods of time, that growth can become substantial. Now we reach step 5, retirement. Eventually, the owner-manager begins withdrawing funds from the RRSP or its successor retirement vehicles. At that stage, the accumulated savings can help support retirement goals, lifestyle needs, and long-term financial security. One reason advisors often like RRSP planning is that withdrawals may occur during years when the individual is in a lower tax bracket than during their peak earning years. While every situation is different, this creates another potential planning advantage. The formula shown at the bottom of the slide summarizes the entire strategy beautifully. Earn, contribute, deduct, grow, create future wealth. Each step builds on the previous one, and together they create a system that rewards long-term planning and discipline. Notice that RRSP planning delivers benefits at multiple stages. There may be benefits when contributions are made, benefits while investments grow, and benefits when retirement income is eventually needed. That is why RRSPs remain one of the most widely used retirement planning tools for owner-managers. And that leads directly to the key message at the bottom of the slide. RRSPs reward long-term thinking. Today's decisions can create opportunities many years into the future. The more consistently a person contributes and allows their investments to grow, the more powerful the long-term impact can become. This is why experienced advisors often view RRSP planning as much more than a tax deduction. They see it as a structured pathway from today's income to tomorrow's financial freedom. This slide explains why RRSP planning is one of the most popular and widely recommended strategies used by advisors working with owner-managers. The reason is simple. One decision can create multiple benefits. Many planning strategies provide a single advantage. RRSP planning is different because it can potentially create benefits both today and in the future. Let's start with the center of the slide. Here we see an advisor discussing retirement planning with an owner-manager. Notice that the RRSP account sits at the center of the conversation. That's because the RRSP acts as a bridge between current tax planning and future wealth planning. The first benefit is the current tax deduction. When an RRSP contribution is made, taxable income may be reduced. This can create immediate tax savings in the year of contribution. For many clients, this is the first benefit they notice because it produces a result right away. The second benefit is tax-deferred growth. Once money enters the RRSP, Investments can grow without annual taxation inside the plan, rather than losing part of the investment returned to taxes every year. The funds continue compounding over time. This allows long-term growth to work more efficiently. The third benefit is retirement savings. An RRSP helps create a dedicated pool of assets that can be used later in life. For many owner-managers, retirement planning can be more challenging because they may not have access to large employer pension plans. The RRSP often becomes one of the primary tools available to build retirement wealth. The fourth benefit is long-term wealth building. Small contributions made consistently over many years can accumulate into substantial amounts. This is where the power of compounding becomes important. The longer investments remain inside the RRSP, the more opportunity they have to grow. The fifth benefit is future financial security. A well-funded retirement account can provide flexibility, stability, and peace of mind during retirement years, rather than depending entirely on future business income or government benefits. The individual has accumulated personal retirement assets. And finally, the sixth benefit is planning flexibility. RRSPs can become part of a broader financial strategy that includes retirement planning, tax planning, investment planning, and long-term wealth management. This flexibility is one reason advisors often incorporate RRSPs into many different client situations. Now let's look at the comparison shown on the right side of the slide. Without RRSP planning, more income may be subject to tax immediately, leaving less money available for long-term investment and growth. With RRSP planning, a portion of income can be redirected into a retirement account, potentially reducing taxes today while creating opportunities for future growth. This comparison helps explain why advisors frequently view RRSPs as more than just a tax deduction. They see them as a wealth-building tool. Notice the advisor's message near the top of the slide. RRSPs often create benefits today and in the future. That statement captures the entire strategy. There may be immediate benefits through tax deductions. There may be ongoing benefits through tax-deferred growth. And there may be future benefits through retirement income and financial security. Few planning tools create value across so many different stages of a person's financial life. And that brings us to the key takeaway at the bottom of the slide. RRSP planning is often the next step after salary planning. Once salary creates RRSP contribution room, advisors frequently begin exploring how that room can be used to support both current tax efficiency and long-term financial success. That is why RRSP planning remains one of the foundational strategies in owner-manager tax planning.